All right. Hello, everyone. Week 15 here at Agentuity. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about today. It's our demo day and also agent day. And I don't have a demo today, but I thought I'd start off talking a little bit about community and some of the community contributions we're getting. In the open source community, really appreciate it. Let me just share my screen and I'll show a few things. If I can ever remember how to share a screen, here we go. Couple things, appreciate. We had a couple of PRs come in around adding, so these are our template repository, which is open source. This is the CLI. When you create a new project, it actually dynamically pulls the different templates down. So if you have different templates you want to create or you want to modify, feel free to fork this repo and send us a PR. We'd love to get a PR from you. So he added a couple of cool dev shortcuts here in the package JSON for Bun and for Node. And then what the other one he did was pretty cool. He sent in a PR for Google AI SDK, Vercel SDK with the Google engine, and some examples. So that was pretty cool. So we very much appreciate that. And he also did the Python ones as well. So very much appreciate that. So that was cool. Thank you very much for sending us those PRs. Keep them coming in. And then Nick Nance, another awesome dude in our community, is also just shared this PR with us in our Discord, which is really cool. So he's been hooking up Agentuity agent to a Next.js template and building out a kind of a research agent. So he's going to open source that and he's sharing that and starting to build that out. So check that out. I think he posted in our Discord if you don't have the URL. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pass it over to my friend and colleague, Kevin.
Yo,
go for it, Kevin.
All right. Cool. Let me share my entire screen for this one. Okay. So a couple things I wanted to share. First, some updates to the web app, like quality of life updates that we made this week. If you go to the project section now, that list of projects now displays all of your runtimes for each project, just as a quick shortcut and extra details in this page. And when you navigate to a project now, we have a home tab that we used to have before, but we brought it back. So you can see information on the latest deployment. I'm not sure why this one failed. But you also can see a breakdown of sessions per day. So you can see how much activity this project is seeing. And when you click on the dots, it actually takes you to a filtered list of those sessions for that day too. While we're here, I'm just going to open the sessions sheet. We've added a cost breakdown similar to what we have on the agent sheet that you've seen before, but now this is just specific to this session. So you have a cost and usage breakdown there as well. So when you go to the agent sheet, also we have this shortcut to bring you straight to the project. So this is just extra, extra details and UI to let you navigate through to wherever you need to be on the site. So a lot of small updates on the web app and some bug fixes this week. But since today is Agent Friday, I also wanted to try building my first agent with tooling or using tools. And what I wanted to build was an agent that took transactional or marketing email templates and personalize the email content based off of data that we have in our CRM. So we're using Adio as our CRM, and we may or may not have information on the user and their email in our system. But if we do, we can probably figure out, what company they work for, what their position is, maybe insert some details on how Agentuity can help them with their work. So something specific to them, not just something more generic like a typical transactional email is. So here in dev mode, I have an example of something we do send after you've signed up and you haven't really onboarded yet. So it's just saying, welcome to Agentuity. Here are the next steps on how to get started. And all it needs is who you're sending it to and body. And when we run this, it will give us a breakdown of, it'll reach out to our CRM, get data on the company and the user, and try to personalize the email a little bit. So here is the result. I just found this bug right now. I don't know why it's doing this, but I found a nifty little way to just display it for right now.
Overlapping on it. It's interesting.
Yeah, I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if it's
That's
like
a
a
nice bug.
markdown format thing.
All right, so here it says like adding a personal greeting. This is what it updated in the email in that last part. So I added a personal greeting and just like notes that I'm part of the Agentuity team. And so it just like updated small things here and there. So this is kind of like the small start of this. We want to do is probably implement this in our actual transactional emails. So this has to be expanded a bit. But to go through the code real quick, a simple prompt, just get data. But I wanted to introduce some tools about being able to access our ADIO account and be able to do simple queries like get the person by the email and get the company by the domain. Domain can come from the email, or it could come from the website field on the person. So it usually calls this one first. And then one thing I just wanted to call out, and thank you, Rick, for helping me fix this. For the longest time today, probably for a good like half hour to 45 minutes, I could not get my agent to spit out text properly when I was trying to utilize tools. And I just found out it's because max step by default is 1. And it was just after the first tool call, it would just like terminate. So you just have to bump it up a bit to some number that is higher, and it'll work. So yeah, just wanted to call that out. That's it for me. How do I? Oops.
I think I am next.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So I'm also kind of related to community. We started working on a deploy button flow. So this is a forked version of the example Jeff mentioned earlier, that Agentuity chat. And you can see right here that Git repo is in the URL, and we're displaying that information here. I'm pulling the README and some of the information about the Git repo. And then once you click this button, you're going to be able to create a Git. We'll create a Git repo for you under your GitHub account if you have that connected, and then we'll actually automatically deploy your this agent template. So that both helps people creating agents and people who that want to share them, and people who want to take stuff off the shelf. So next week, hopefully, we'll have some the full flow to show here. And shout out to Kevin for helping me with this beautiful UI. So number 2 is my Agent Day demo. And give me 1 second to get it up and running here. Agentuity dev.
Maybe plus one more time.
One more. Okay. There we go. I'm going to take this out and pop over to dev mode. Check one thing. Okay. So what this agent does is it's kind of a different take on a coder agent that you may have seen last week. And what this agent has access to do is execute command line parameters on a container or machine of choice. So as we go through here, you can see that we take in, we are going to take in the user prompt right here is create a text file on this certain path. And that's going to, and it's going to make a plan for this, right? So we're going to go through and where's make plan? There we go. Comes up with a plan here. And then we're going to take this plan and we are going to generate some structured objects. And what these objects are command and then some arguments for that command. And this is an array of commands. And we'll go through and loop through these commands and try to complete this task. And you can see in here, and we check if it was successful. This is also agentic, right? I'm not just looking at like the stood out or whatever, the return value. As it's looping through, we're going to try to revise the command and try to come up with a different branch, right, to go down, right, if our original plan didn't work very well. So enough talking about it. Let's just send it and see if we are successful. Let's see here. It's thinking. I may give it a restart here in just a sec. Again, this is pretty bleeding edge here. Okay, give me 1 second. Try to refresh Deadpad. See if that does it. All right, there we go. So we see these are the commands that went through. So first it CD'd into the directory that I asked for. It touched the file. It did an ls. And did an ls here. And that was the output. It was such file directory. And it kept just trying to run ls here, which is kind of strange. You know, but you know, you can kind of see the beginnings of something cool, right? and it created the file just fine, right? So kind of my thought process, right, is once we like do some little massaging on this on the agent code, is that we can like have it generate text and then actually generate commands to like pipe that text like a script into a file and execute the file. That was kind of where I was going with it, trying to create bash scripts on the fly and executing them. So,
Bobby, the reason it didn't work is because it's CD'd in a separate session, and that won't remember the directory choice. So when it runs the next command, it's in the base. You know, it's in the current working directory.
Agent memory.
Agent memory,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, ideally he would take the directory he's at and whatever, and he'd remember that. So the next time around, he would start from that location. So
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's just again, but pretty cool stuff. You can see kind of all the different the stuff that we could do with this, with some like really small building blocks, right? So again, that's a different take on a coder agent, like the other coder agents that we've built. And honestly, probably a combination of these two kinds of things is what's best, right? Like some like guy who's not trying to code through command line. His job is just to write code, and then he gives it to a guy who can pipe it into a file. So that's probably what I'll be working on this weekend if I can get some time. That is it from me. I think next up is Pedro, I believe.
you got it.
Yep. All right. I'm going to show a couple of CLI things that I worked on that I think are very useful, powerful for developers mostly. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Window.
We like to say developers and Rick.
Yes, and Rick too. All right. Okay. So anyway, I did a couple of new commands. One of them is agent test. It's basically a way to test our agents via the CLI. So remember how right now you can still do curl or like a HTTP request to your webhook URL, but this makes it easier because once you call it, I mean, you can pass in your agent ID, but if you don't, it'll ask you which agent you wanna do. So I'm gonna do this one. This is a personal agent that I've been working for a little while, and you can choose what type of, depending on how you set it up. If you want to do like a webhook, I have it as a cron as well, or as an API. I'm gonna do webhook because I have an issue with the API right now. And then you can pass in parameters, and what this agent will do right now, it just takes a couple of dates, and it'll go into a database of paragliding flights from a live tracking service for paragliding, and then it will read a blog post about it. So it's very, very simple, but just to show you, right? So when you call that's basically the same thing as calling curl before. Now this is a webhook, so you're not getting anything back, just like a session ID and stuff. And then you want to see what it looks like on the actual website. It's basically, so this is like the blog post that you wrote. Takes like the 6 best flights from the dates that you passed in, and then just writes a very, very simple blog post about it, which is cool.
Really cool.
Yeah. So, and then the other one, I want to show you the deploy, right? So you've been able to deploy now for a while, but what about using tags? Sort of like Docker does, right? So you can tag it. So you can tag like latest, which should be like the default, like the latest deployment, or you can tag, I don't know, version like v1.0.1. What this does, this also allows you to then call the project or the agent by tag. So say that you just deploy one, you screw something up, and you need to kind of use the previous version at least until you fix your bug. You can also do it. And then if you call the test command, you can also do tag and then use whatever tag that you wanted. There's nothing more that I can show right now on the screen on the CLI, but that's the idea. So, and all of this is now working and deployed, which is cool.
That's all. Pedro, could you deploy a tag and not make it latest, but test an agent before it's rolled out? Is your main one?
Exactly. So you can always you can always put whatever tag you want, and then if the tag already exists, it'll replace it. So you can always use latest. That's cool. And then part of the CI tooling that we have on the GitHub Actions, I still need to make an update there. It will always tag your releases as latest, and also with a git commit. So that's pretty cool. That's my.
So you can always go back to an agent independent. So all your agent deployments can be tested no matter how many times you deploy them with either a tag or a git commit SHA.
Yes. So exactly.
Awesome.
So the git SHA is always gonna be there, but if you set latest all the time, it's always gonna be like the latest. So that's it.
It's pretty amazing.
Cool. Next up is Devin's best friend, Rick.
Devin's best friend.
I asked Devin that actually, if I was his best friend, and it said, I don't have favorites. I'm just a helpful assistant that helps anybody code and whatever. Like, whatever. I'm done with Devin.
Oh man. Tell Devin he's got some competition now with Codex, so he better start playing favorites.
I want to see. Maybe I should tell Devin that Pedro's my best friend, and see if he gets jealous and starts like messing with his PRs. I should actually try to gaslight him and see what'll happen. Yeah.
Last time you asked him something about me, he told you that I didn't do any work for the past week. Remember?
That was funny, actually. You're right. Oh man. Okay, so I have a few things. The first one is, so in when we did our public preview in React Miami, we had a React Miami agent that was a concierge agent. You could ask them about the conference, about what's going on in Miami. So because we're doing AI Engineer World's Fair in a couple weeks in June, I built the same thing. Just kind of copied it, moved it over. So it's open source. It's on our repo. You can already start using it. But just like the last one, there's a host, a concierge host, which is kind of like the orchestrator. So the request comes in, goes through it, figures out what the intent is, and then after that it'll route it. So the intent will be like, hey, the user asked something about whatever, some kind of really good bistro in San Francisco. That's probably the San Fran local guide, and then it'll go through and pass that off to that agent. So as you see here on the left hand side, we have a host, we have a conference expert, developer expert, all about Agentuity, and then San Francisco local guide, which we're using actually Perplexity with that one, which is pretty cool. That's actually a pretty good model, the Sonar Pro. And then also we have a real simple weather tool that uses Noah's web service to go look up the weather. So it works fine. One of the things I will call out is super handy is AI Engineering World's Fair has an LLMS TXT with everything in it. So it's great. So when we point like the conference expert, when we point to it, like we have all the information about the conference without having to scrape the website and all that kind of stuff. So I did download it locally here. So it's super handy. It's got all the sessions, all the speakers. So that's becoming really nice for agents, the LLMS TXT. So anyway, that's ready to go, minus like maybe one or two little tweaks. That's the first one. The second one is this agent. It's a workout agent or a coaching agent. I'm calling it Coachbot for now in Slack that I have. And I can tell about myself, my weight, what I want to do exercise wise, and it creates a plan, a workout plan for me every day. And then I can adjust it, and I can tell it what what I ate. It'll like log the calories. It'll do all that stuff all within Slack, and I can ask it, hey, what did I log yesterday? What do I need to do? Can I eat this? And now you reach your max or whatever. So I built this. It's got a bunch of tools. I'm still going to work on it. It's kind of like a side thing for a while. But I've got a bunch of tools for logging meals, log when activities done, get the workouts, adapt the plan. I'll show you this here in a second. Weight updates, all this different stuff, query the data. And it's funny, I ran into Dylan at the Miami AI Hub on Wednesday. Dylan's University of Miami student that's joining us here shortly for the summer. And he has a whoop like I do. And he's like, oh man, they've got an API. Let's all put this together. And I think it'll be cool. So maybe he'll start working on it too with me, just kind of on the side. But the cool thing is, I just showed to you, this is what it looks like. I don't know, let me blow it up. It's probably kind of small text, right? Is that better? So when I had to go down to Miami, I said, hey, what's today's exercise plan on Wednesday? You're swimming today. And I'm like, I got to take a train. I'm going to be gone all day. Adjust the plan. So it did. It adjust the plan. Yeah, I've adjusted this. It's kind of funny. It's like, hey, since your plan's adjusted, go at least try to do this stuff today. Which is kind of cool. It'll break up the time when you're on the train. So it was kind of fun.
That's kind of cool,
having like this kind of, and then it actually does it. It'll call the database tools in the background, adjust my plan. I can look back and say, hey, why did I miss a day if I forgot, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, you were on a train. That's why. So then I plan on like integrating this with Whoop and all that. And so I'll have like this really cool workout coach. So this will be all open source. Should be up on GitHub in the next week or so. And then finally, maybe one more. So there's a PR, of course, the CLI is open source, so you can check it out. That I worked over the weekend. I read Thorsten Ball's blog on, I think it was called "The Emperor Has No Clothes" or something like that. It was just on coding agents and how they're really not that hard to build. So I went through, I built the thing that he was talking about, and then I'm like, well, let me just put this in the CLI. So there's a PR out. We closed it because from a product perspective, we want to go a different direction, but it actually has a lot of learnings in it. We use the Anthropic SDK with the tool calling on all the local, grepping and git diff and all that and bringing it in. Learned a lot. There's a lot of fun things in here. So I think if you're looking for, Go code that just for inspiration or to copy paste some ideas out of, there's a PR here that's closed that you can grab from. Like one of the agents was watching all the logs. And when there was an error, it would go out and try to figure out what the error was. And then once it figured out the error, it'd say, hey, do you want to fix it? And you could say, yep, go fix it. And it would go and run the code mod and adjust it. Stuff. Pretty cool. So fun times. All right. So those are my 3 demos. And I think that's it. That wraps up week 15 for everybody. Good job, everybody. It was a fun week. And we're getting really, really close to really close to San Fran. So Matt wasn't able to make it. Matt's got some really good, solid, cool stuff for the website coming up that you'll see here in the next week or so. So it's exciting. Jeff, you want to say something?
No, I was going to say we missed Gabriel as well. He was out this afternoon. And thanks, everyone.